How's it going, everyone? You know, there's things we need to understand really truly about what it is about being an American and about how important the Constitution is. Truth is, Constitution is more important than anyone wants to. We just don't want to let it set in, okay? Most of us now have been raised in this world, in our nation, you know, all across the world though, but we've been raised in a manner to act like our law enforcement is so great, and you gotta watch what you say, stuff like that, right? I mean, you gotta watch what you say, but we're raised in a way that, you know, like the law enforcement are the good people and they do nothing wrong. And this is just a fact. People don't want to see that. One, they do stuff wrong. But, you know, I don't know how to think. People start tuning in on my videos. Anyone just tuning in, thank you very much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. But, you know what? How do we put these things into perspective the right way? You know, I got like certain people. I've upset a lot of people recently, and I understand that, especially locally. And my goal is not to offend anyone, and never is, okay? And I don't think I'm smarter than anyone. I'm just, you know, I look at the facts. I take time to look at the truth of the situations, okay? I'm not quick to let the talking heads steer me on how I feel about something. And the fact of the matter is, many of us are. And so I've upset people, especially locally, when I started raising hell about this incident that happened over in Napoleon. Officer took his own life. They didn't want to release the name, you know, and I had some people comment on some of the posts where I commented on their first press release. I said, well, that's not much of a press release, right? Because they didn't give us his name. They started asking for privacy for the police department. People don't understand. That's not, I understand, you know, as a smaller community, yeah, it hits a little different, because chances are some people know these people, right? Him or the family. But the thing is, consider, you know, like I had an old school friend, you know, and I know he means well, and he's a veteran himself. So, you know, my thing is, you know, especially the veterans, people who have signed up for military service and fought for this country, supposedly for our freedom. Many of them find out that they weren't really fighting for our freedom anyways. But the point is, you should respect more of what I'm doing or my stance. Instead, and I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not here to, it's not about an argument or cutting them down or anything. It's about, too many of us are just not taking the time to understand and grasp what really is going on. Because, okay, it's the comment, knock it off, Larry. I have some respect, right? And I get that because, you know, this is someone that knew me all through school, and everyone, you know, all through them years on up, right? And everyone that's, you know, truly knows me knows that this is how I am. I'll stand up with something ain't sounding right, I'm a voice about it. Well, people like, oh, here we go again, here we go. Listen, this is a public servant. Okay, the fact of the matter is, the first press release didn't have to be released. The second press release should have been released first. You know, you can go back and see those videos or whatever, but then they came out with their new press release that gave the name and said officer died in line of duty, this and that, right? No problem. That's how it should have been released to begin with. These are our public servants, whether you like it or not. You're telling us a local cop is no longer with us, and the thing is, you come right out and quickly, immediately you show up, right, and rule that he took his own life, right? You rule that way immediately. Then you come out in the news and say, well, we're asking for privacy for the family. Like I said, that's one thing. And also our department. Your department don't get the privacy. You're a police department. And people don't understand this. Now, the problem is they hid his name, but was quick to say what the cause was. This is awful suspicious. And there's people that don't understand it. Where's the respect for the private citizens that they release it right away? Okay? But it's suspicious, especially over there in Napoleon, with how this stuff is going on, that there's a couple other cases eerily similar to this case. The only difference is none of the other ones weren't cops, right? But the rest of the circumstances are pretty damn similar, other than the facts we don't know, right? But they're like, oh, it'll come out in due time. No, it won't come out in due time if you don't have the pressure on them. And this is what why were they so quick to rule that he took his own life? They could have said, they could have released their press release. Officer down, died in line of duty. Okay, Officer Murray, rest in peace, died in line of duty. More details after the investigation, right? But when you come out and say, we had an officer took his own life, well, then your investigation's done. If you already ruled that quickly, that's exactly what happened, then your investigation's done. Why are you withholding the name? And there's people that would come up with their reasons, okay, and saying, oh, well, they got to wait so many hours for the family to do. No, the only thing they're required to do is to notify the family. From that point on, this is public business. And people don't get that. We are losing control of everything it is to be American, and that's because we are letting all these little things slide. You're too worried about what's going on at the top, Trump or Biden. The fact of the matter is, like I said, I didn't vote, and it don't matter if you do or not. It doesn't matter who's the president, who you vote in there. That's the real fact of the matter. It doesn't matter who it is, okay? What matters is that Constitution. You can I don't care what Trump's personal values are, what Kamala's personal values are. They are beholden to the Constitution. But we are forgetting about that. We are forgetting about the reasons and power of that Constitution. Right? What law is. Unlawful and illegal are two different things. You can tell me all day long I need a license to drive, and if I don't have a license to be traveling in my vehicle, that I'm breaking the law. Well, no, all I'm doing is doing something illegal, right? But I'm not doing nothing unlawful, right? You have every right to travel according to the law. And there's people that, they want to act like they're smarter than you or anything else. The Constitution, this is the problem. We come up with this that our forefathers even warned us against. Using lawyers into the government, right? Because now they're telling us, oh, let's interpret the Constitution. The Constitution was written in plain English that any of us can understand. And that's the fact of the matter, right? Many of, especially if you're my age, anywhere near it, we were brought up that Shakespeare was required for school, right? For certain, whatever grades. Shakespeare was required reading and taking part in the play stuff and all that bullshit, right? But then we use the excuse, like when it comes to the Bible, the King James Version, or the Constitution. Oh, well, it's too hard to understand. It's too hard to understand. No, it's not. It's plain English. Just take a few minutes to read it for yourself, and that's the problem. Nobody wants to read it for themselves, okay? It don't take a bunch of lawyers to tell me what shall not be infringed means. Oh, well, we got to take it back and see what they meant about it. Chapter 31 of Articles of Confederation, whatever. You know, that's an example. That's not real shit there, right? That's not what it takes to interpret the Constitution. They knew what they were doing. They wrote that Constitution the way it is. Without that Constitution, we are nothing here in America. And while it may be not, I won't say it's the greatest document, right? But, you know, there's nothing else like it anywhere else, right? It's up to us to defend that and keep it. This wheel has to continue being oiled, right? If you don't oil this wheel, it breaks down. The problem is, it's no longer in production. There's no longer parts in production. We allow it to break. There's no ordering new parts. There's no fixing it once it's broke. And it's in badly need of some repairs. That's just, I don't know how else to say it to you, right? But that's where we're at. And, you know, people want to act like I'm jumping, you know, or whatever, going overboard, not showing respect. I mean, no disrespect to anyone. The problem is, you want to tell us, you didn't have to tell us the circumstances yet. You had to tell us the name. And people don't want to understand that. Okay? But instead, you want to say, oh, this is what happened. Pray for the family and all this and that, right? I need to pray for this officer's soul and his family. I don't know who to pray for when you're withholding a name. Why are you withholding a name? This sounds suspicious. That you've already concluded your investigation, right? You're quick to make sure we all know that he did it himself. That's, you know, seems suspicious to me. That's just a fact of the matter. But then you don't want to release a name until there's time to maybe go through and scrub it. But then I have comments. Oh, they got to wait till so many hours till the family decides how they want to proceed. It's not a private matter. That's a public police officer. Our public police officer. The family needs to be notified. The family can decide how the burial is going to go or whatever. But the family, other than that, they cannot the family don't have the right to say, no, we don't want the information released yet. They don't have a right to do that. He's a public employee. And that's what we don't understand. You know, and it goes way deeper than that. These are small little things sometimes, right? Is it? We don't know what's going on in Napoleon. We don't know. It could be some messed up stuff, right? It is what it is. But we're going to sit here, you know, people will get all bent out of shape about me holding their feet to the fire. Instead, not everyone, you know, I got people who agree. Like, I finally found out the officers. Shout out to my friend Ange. Okay, she got a hold of me, and because I had another comment that said, oh, by Sunday morning, everyone in Napoleon knew the name, and that's not true. That's why I started pressing, because I was like, bullshit, everybody's asking for the name, and nobody's got it. I talked to everyone I knew in Napoleon. Nobody knew the name. So I'm sorry, Rob Schaefer, that's not correct. Okay, Monday morning or Sunday morning, nobody knew the name. That's where the issue came in. You already told us that you concluded what the issue was, what happened there, but you ain't got a name. Well, that don't sit right with me, and I don't accept that. That's just how it is. Okay, and you know, I put the pressure on them, then they come out with the name, right? And it's not to shame anyone. Like I said, they could have told us the cause later. They could have took a little more time on that investigation. I don't trust it. It raises suspicion because of that. But the heart of the matter is, oh, have some respect, Larry. What? Listen, I don't mean any disrespect. None of that was about to be disrespectful. It is up to us to hold our public offices, our public employees to accountability. When we do not, like I said, you give them an inch and they take a mile. We cannot have this. We cannot allow it to continue. And, this is what it takes. But we're going to sit here and pretend this is the problem. People don't want to understand. Like, they act like it's no big deal. And I'm always like, oh, it's time to, give it a rest. Give it a rest about our Constitution. Without that, we're screwed, right? The Constitution would hold all your public servants accountable. The lawful, that's the law, okay? If I'm not breaking the Constitution, if I'm not injuring someone or stealing, harming them in some way, then I have not broken the law. So all your legalities that these cops want to harass us about all the time and give us fines and throw us, all this stupid shit that happens all the time, half the time they don't have a right to do it, but your lawyers ain't, because this is why they try to shut people like me up. They don't want us to look at the real heart of the matter. The Constitution, you cannot overlook it, and you cannot say when somebody stands up and says, hold on, whoa, you don't get to say, hey, give it a rest, show some respect, give it time. When you give it time, nothing comes out. When you hold their feet to the fire, when you put the pressure on them, then it does. Okay, we don't know now the story about this officer, and we're never gonna probably get the real facts. But now it's suspicious because of the way they handled it. The second press release should have been released first. The first one could have waited. Okay, you want us to believe you did an investigation? Well, then I would think it would take a few days for you to tell us how it happened. But somehow you knew all of the details, but you had no name. Right? And there's people that they understand where I'm coming from. I understand everybody means well. Look, I'm not showing disrespect, but we have to do this because we are losing it every day. As I said, it don't matter who the president is, as long as you have that Constitution. They have to do what we want, not their own personal values. That's just the fact of the matter. Whether it be Trump, Kamala, Biden, it don't matter. They have to abide by the Constitution. Without that Constitution, they can do whatever the hell they please, and they are. I just want to clear that up a little bit. It's not about disrespect at all. I pray for this officer's soul and his family. I said that before, and it continues. But we cannot sit here, and I don't care how small or big the community is. This is where the corruption is. And it's on the low levels this is where we got to fight it at. You're not going to get nowhere trying to fight it at the top, because they're all in bed together. When you start taking out the legs at the bottom, that's where you start getting results. And, we've got to hold them accountable and let them know that, whoa, hold on. You want to ask for respect and privacy for the family 100%. But when you want to come out and say, our department is asking for privacy during these times, I'm sorry, you're a police officer. If you don't like it, don't be one. But as long as you are, when you're on duty, you belong to us. But we see it as we belong to them. We see it as we have to follow their commands. If they say anything, just because you're walking down the road and you don't abide by it, now you're not abiding by a lawful command, and you're getting in trouble and everything else. And that's nonsense. It's not a lawful command unless it abides by the law. Just because they wear a badge don't make it right. If we refuse to hold them accountable at all levels, they will plow over us, and that is happening now. All these people with dumb shit get all the views and everything else. They're doing everything to hold me down. I'm counting on my viewers to help me get this word out and help me grow my channel. And by all means, I'm sure, because I'm a no-nonsense person, I'm gonna piss people off. More than likely, even, everyone, right? That's just how it is. They can't deal with it because I'm a straight shooter, right? And a spade is a spade. we are not protecting our Constitution good enough. And we're being ignorant, allowing people to tell us we don't understand what plain English is, right? No matter where you're at, hold your local servants to pressure. If they don't want the job, if they can't handle the rules, they can leave. That's just how it is. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We appreciate it very much. And let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep all of his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. See you.